Hello, everybody. Welcome to another War of the Ring game. My name is Doruk, and this is my fifth Hobbit League game. Uh, I'm playing against Raster, who's an excellent opponent. And again, I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. And this is a very interesting game. It had some very informative moments. It had some crazy plays, maybe some would consider. So, without further ado, let's get right to it. So, I'm playing as the free people. Sorry, Shadow. I'm used to playing as the free people. I'm playing as Shadow this time. Me and my opponent agreed to play with 2 action tokens. And yeah, I bid 2 action tokens and they accepted. So, for this game, I'm playing as Shadow. So, I allocated 0 eyes. Based on my character card, I didn't think it was like playable really that like there was any rush to play the character card, so I was like, okay, let's allocate 0 eyes, even though I think 0 eyes games are like less interesting than 1 eye games, and the more you catch the fellowship moving, the more hunt tiles you draw, and the better the special tiles become. Like the smaller the hunt pool, the better these special tiles become. And Hill Trolls is also excellent for mustering card. It doesn't tell me where I should attack. So I was just, hey, I'll just attack, I'll do the Elven Pincer classic move and we'll go from there. So I roll 1 eye, which is good. I get my musters, excellent. My opponent gets 2 Palantirs and a single movement. Maybe not the immediate role you want, but if you have cards to play with your Palantir, it's great. Unfortunately, I don't know what my opponent has because they didn't share their password. They forgot before I could ask them for it. But it's perfectly fine, right? Like I don't usually like looking at my opponent's hand anyways. So my opponent immediately starts by drawing and cycling a Trandul's Archers. Excellent, right? You cycle Gandalf and it lets you draw a strategy event. You find those scouts, you find those extra mustering cards, and you get to cycle with Gandalf and use a Palantir for like almost like as a Palantir of War thing. So it's excellent. I don't know if I would immediately play that. Maybe you want to wait until Shadow commits one way, but it's also perfectly reasonable to want to dig into the strategy deck. So my opponent draws 2, and I just get Saruman, and my opponent immediately puts in a blue tile, and now cycles a character card, right? It's excellent uses for Palantir, and I start moving my armies. You don't really want to immediately get Saruman because like in the off chance they ring move with the muster and they get caught and they kill Gandalf, and then they can get Gandalf with the will, you just don't even entertain the idea as Shadow. So you get Saruman as the last action, right? So I move into Moria from North Dunland and just move into Gorgoroth from Barad-dûr. Very, very standard. My opponent moves with the will. I roll a 5. They're safe. I start going for the classic Elven Pincer, South Anduin Whale, and to Moranon. Opponent passes. Now that they have used their will, I can just get Saruman. My opponent passes again. I go to Daggerlad and into Dimdal Dale. And the reason I didn't move this army from Moria is because I can draw shadows on the Misty Mountain to muster there maybe first if I draw it, or maybe I draw Pits of Mordor. Maybe I can play that card before moving out this Moria army. Yeah, right. So it's a small optimization, nothing too huge. My opponent moves down Gondor. Musters down Gondor. And I find this surprising because I'm not going for Gondor. So it kind of tells me in my head maybe they're planning on activating Gondor early, seeing that I'm not going that way, and maybe mount a military defense. That would be interesting. With the sea die, I just moved to No Man's Lands, right? Very standard Shadow turn 1. I rolled an excellent roll, can't complain. Let's go to turn 2. I draw Ring Racer Abroad and Horde from the East. Excellent cards, right? A Palantir attack and a Deadly Strife. That's what you want as Shadow. And I allocate 1 eye, yeah, because I have to. And I get a weird roll, you know. I get 3 musters, probably more than I need. And my opponent gets 2 movement, very flexible little roll. They didn't get their will, but okay. Yeah, it's interesting. Like one of these musters will go into Sauron, put Sauron to war, and the other two are a little in the air, right? I can't really put the elves to war, so that's one of the reasons why probably they didn't move down the elves with that muster die first turn, so that I can't get the Witch King so easily, right? If I besiege Lorien and Woodland Realm, the elves will be at step 2. Step 0, 1, yeah, step 2. And I still need to make an attack into one of these strongholds, a weak attack, an unoptimized attack, such that I can get the Witch King. So maybe that's one of the reasons to muster down Gondor instead of elves. So they start by moving. I don't think there's any rush, but you know you want to, right? But at the same time, you're giving me opportunity to maybe do something nasty with the Palantir. So probably just passing is right, but whatever. They're safe again. I moved on Sauron, yeah, to war. My opponent with the Palantir plays King Brandsman. That also draws a strategy event card. Like, they managed to cycle 3 cards with Gandalf, plus 2 of them drew stuff. So it's like, that's one of the best Gandalf cycling I've ever seen. And it's towards the north, right? The Northmen are... the north has got Thranduil and the Dale reinforcements. It's looking good. I get moving, right? I didn't get Shadows on the Misty Mountains or anything, so I move along with my plan. One thing that they didn't get, the free people didn't get, is an army dice. So this Carrick unit is stuck in Carrick. And that's a shame because you also have King Brandsman. Like, you really would want me to act... You would really want to move this Northman down once. And maybe scouts it away. Because you, at this point, 3 people have seen 6 cards. 6 strategy cards. Right? There's a high chance that one of them is a scout. So you'd really want to maybe move the Carrick army into Old Forest Road, but you just don't have the dice for it. But what are you gonna do? So they move again. I don't know if there's any rush. You're just like risking a reveal, and this is the 3rd move. So if I catch them here, they will be revealed into Moria, but they're safe. This is one of the reasons I sometimes like allocating 2 eyes, because you have a more of a chance to catching them in their Moria movement. But yeah, that then the game, the fabric of the game changes if that happens, if that makes sense. So personal preference. So I get moving. I want to get to Old Forest Road. They pass. I get there. The north activates. They pass. And now I have 2 musters and a Palantir. I can't put anybody to war, right? I can't put anybody to war, and I just have these musters. So what do? Now that my opponent has used Thranduil and King Brandsman, I feel like I will need some reinforcements in the north. So I just muster the Southron and Easterlings towards war, right? it's something I want to do anyways, right? Even in the south to attack Gondor, and even in the north to help me defeat the dwarves and the Northmen. So it's the perfectly acceptable play, right? Perfectly reasonable. And I move them to war. So even maybe I draw David out Dawn and I can like take away their Gandalf. Not unlikely, but and they move down the north with that last muster, which I think is you know, interesting because like I love when the North gets to war because they're really a powerful nation to muster militarily if you want to have any military defense as the free people. But at the same time, now this army in Old Forest Road can attack Dale, put the North all the way to war in a single attack, and get the Witch King, right? I don't know if this is something you want necessarily. Well, obviously, I wouldn't attack into Dale immediately because then they would most likely retreat into Woodland Realm. So what my plan will be is besiege Woodland Realm and then make an attack into Dale, capture it, and get the Witch King. And with the final die, with the final Palantir, I really I can play Hill Trolls. Like I'm looking at this, maybe I should have, but I played the Give It to Us. It just felt like a very easy Palantir play. But now that I'm looking back, I probably should just play Hill Trolls because he, maybe that's not true. Like I don't really know whether Lorien or the North will need the Hill Trolls. So I guess I'm still waiting to see. Maybe they draw Celeborn and or like Power to Great, right? Um, maybe like I use the army card to get rid of Power to Great. So maybe playing the good to us is totally fine. All right, on to turn 3. My opponent has 7 cards. Okay, yep. I don't know what they kill, but oh well. I draw Pits of Mordor. You know, that turn too late, maybe. Whatever. And now I allocate 2 eyes, and I think at this point it's a mistake. And I roll 1 more. I think it's a mistake because Fellowship is over Moria, right? I'm not gonna reveal them into Moria, and I generally like need the attacks and the musters to be able to get the Witch King and get my 8th die, no 9th die, right? And just make sure the military just goes stronger because at this point Fellowship is flying by and they really would want to kill Gandalf. So I think allocating 2 eyes is definitely a mistake. But my opponent gets 2 movements, but they didn't get a will, so they might still not get Gandalf, right? It's turn 3. It's pretty late for Gandalf. So they really want to be caught, and they're not. All right, they're safe. Now I do this play, right? I attack Lorien because like Lorien has worse cards. Like they still have Celeborn and Power to Great, so I want to be done with Lorien as fast as possible if I can. And they move again because obviously they're trying to just rush the ring and kill Gandalf. And this time I catch them and it's an eye. So 1 reveal. And they take Gandalf, they think about it, they instead want to risk it. They just take the corruption, move through Moria, and hope for the Moria tile to be better than 1. I am not a big fan of this strategy. This strategy of not taking Gandalf as a casualty to an eye or to a 1 is very, very dangerous because there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles that are better. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tiles that are horrendous. Like 5 tiles that don't let you kill off Gandalf, right? 5. 6, and the 4 tiles that are basically the same thing, right? So they have like a little bit more than 50% chance to get something better, right? And it's for like one corruption, for one more corruption saved. Like, don't get me wrong, one corruption is like good, but like you're basically risking not being able to kill Gandalf and not like delay him, not even next turn, but the turn after that potentially, right? But you're just like it's just a coin toss. Like, why would you take that risk? I just don't understand. I think it's way too big of a risk. Had this not been an eye but a one, right? Like if it was a one reveal, right? It would be 6 to 6, like 6 tiles, like 4 eyes and 2 zeros that don't kill Gandalf, and the others 6 2 or higher twos and the threes in the pool. Like you get a more efficient Gandalf, which is a pure 50-50 in that case to get better than what you have right now. I'm personally not a big fan of this strategy. I just think you should kill off Gandalf, and especially on turn 3, like he's late as it is, so I would just not take this chance. But they do, and they get a 3. I mean, this is exactly what you want to like. This is why you just eat the 1 corruption and take the 3. But personally, yeah, I don't think it's worth the risk. So whatever. Yeah, of course take Gandalf as a casualty. I say nice, and they say perfect. Yeah, exactly. Well, it worked out, but it might not work out the next game they play. That's the whole point, right? About probabilities and averages and like making plays over the long run. It's a risky one. And with the other character die, now I besiege the Woodland Realm. Right now, the elves are 1 away from war, and I still can't get Witch King. With this army dies, I'm expected to attack into one of these strongholds and get the Witch King with this last one. And with the Palantir, I might play like Hill Trolls or Ring Rates or Abroad to make an attack, right? They pass, and now I attack Dale, right? That was my idea. I want to attack Dale anyways, right? It's a free point. I don't want them to have that mustering point. And instead of putting the elves to war, I can just put the Northmen to war and get Witch King. And if they just scouts away to the dwarves, that's fine. They're my next target anyway, right? Like, it's obviously some units will survive, but I attack Dale. I no card it. I really have nothing to play. They play a strategy card, assuming that's the scouts. It's the confusion. I was like, oh, they're expecting to like do some damage. Or I get a 1, a single 1. No hits, fine. And they roll no more hits, so I give a 1, and I press. And at this point, when I press, obviously that's my point. If I don't capture Dale, they're not at war. I put 3 units there. And I was surprised for them to just move to Old Forest Road. Right? Because you usually just want to shore up Erebor. I was surprised that they made this move. But I understand it, right? They had with their next move, they just move towards the open Dol Guldur, and they shore up Erebor with the Iron Hills unit. Now, unless I use this muster to muster into Dol Guldur, they're gonna get it for free. But this muster I need for Witch King. Right? That's very astute play by my opponent. I think this is very smart. They would be delaying the Witch King for another turn. But in fact, I have Pits of Mordor that I can play with the Palantir. I'm not happy to be playing a defensive Pits of Mordor, but I'm not going to give them a free stronghold. And it's a desperate battle on top of that. Like, it's a good effect. So it's really sad for me to have to use it. But even if I didn't have Pizza Mordor, I would have used the Muster in the Dol Guldur. Definitely not giving them a free stronghold. Because next turn, the first action I will do will be this use a Muster to get the Witch King and start attacking. So it would have cost me a die for one turn. So, you know. But it's this kind of maneuvering of the fellow free people armies is something Shadow should always be in the lookout for, right? I was not aware of it. So I think my opponent did an excellent job of taking advantage of it. The same situation also happens in Osgiliath, right? If there's like armies in South North Ithilien but not South Ithilien, and the Minas Morgul is open, if they attack into Osgiliath, and this Osgiliath army retreats into South Ithilien, and on the Fellowship's next turn, they can immediately take Minas Morgul. So, like, these kind of army maneuvering is very important to be aware of, right? So, something to keep in mind. But this time, maybe unluckily for my opponent, I had Pizza Mordor, and I play it. I just fill up the north, the strongholds in the north, because now that the north is at war, they can muster in Bree and start maybe assailing Mount Gundabad. So I think these are the three correct strongholds to muster in. My opponent plays a Palantir to hide. Yeah, they just hide with the Fellowship. Now that Gandalf's dead, the Palantirs are used to hide. They've been using very efficient Palantirs, I must say. And I get the Witch King. I get the Witch King, and I put him in Lorien. And because I want to attack in Lorien, surprise. The reason I want to attack in Lorien first is because Lorien still has two strategy cards that defend it: Power to Great and Celeborn. I want to be rid of Lorien as soon as possible, not let them muster. This 5/1/2 on top of Woodland Realm, this 7 hit point army, is probably not enough to take a 5 hit point army. But there is nothing that can help this army, right? Unless my opponent starts mustering in Carrick and plays like help unlooked for or something like that. There's nothing. There's no help incoming to this Woodland Realm, but there is still help that could come to Lorien. So I want to be done with that first, right? Even though my leadership is like a little weird, but I have like Ring Racer Abroad or something to fix that. So, yeah. Next turn, turn 4. My opponent still doesn't have Gandalf, by the way. I draw Cruel Weather. Excellent. And Half Orcs and Goblin Man. Like, excellent again, right? I said I will need some help in the Woodland Realm Siege, and I have Hill Trolls, I have Half Orcs and Goblin Men. Excellent. I allocate a single eye. I roll. I get a good roll. I get many attacks and 2 Palantirs, right? My opponent gets a great roll again, right? Against one eye, they have movement, they have a Gandalf die. Perfect. They immediately get Gandalf because Dawn is being threatened. Smart. I Palantir. I Ring Rates are abroad. Like I said, I would like to be done with Lorien. So the first thing I do, I just attack it, move away an Nazgul, put an Nazgul on top of the Fellowship. Now, before they are moved, I attack Lorien and play a Deadly Strife. And my opponent plays Advantageous Position by using a Tom Bombadil. It's important to note that they use Tom Bombadil because now Shire can be potential target. I roll 3 hits over the Advantageous Position. This is good. Getting 3 hits is good. My opponent rolls 2. I press once. Yep. I just need 2 hits. And I draw Great Host. Perfect, right? Play Great Host. No card. Get 2 6s anyway. My opponent gets 1 hit. Well, there goes Lorien, right? It took 2 attack. It took 2 cards. It took 3 cards. Ring Rage is a Rod, Great Host, and a Deadly Strife. But it's done. Was it an overkill? like maybe, right? But I'd rather be done with it, right? I have this somewhat of a leftover army that can maybe merge someday with some reinforcements from Dol Guldur and maybe go assail Rohan, but perfectly happy, right? That's what I wanted to have happen. And yeah, so Fellowship starts to move. I missed them. I have not caught them I've caught them once so far. Uh, yeah. So my what I need to be doing is a little unclear to me at this point. I have many character dice. My leaders are up in Lorien. I clearly want to be attacking the north, right? I don't have any musters, right? I want to maybe merge these armies and go attack. And I have a one muster, which I'm gonna be attacking up here, right? And I have two forward mustering cards. So I'm like, okay, I will attack. I will somehow organize these forces into a big attack and go from there. So I muster into Northrune. And I think this is a mistake. The problem is I don't have many army movements. So whatever armies I move with this character dice are gonna be super inefficient. Not only that, I have to put some Nazgul on top of these guys to even start moving them. So what I was thinking, I should just put a Nazgul in North Rune and move all my Nazgul on top of Woodland Realm. And with these character dice, just basically go Vale of Karnan, Dale into Woodland Realm, attack, and then like come back, right? Even though South Rune, and I keep South Rune here. Like I at the point, my opponent moves again. I catch them, and it's a 1. I draw an eye. They move to Druiden Forest. They just take the corruption. It's fine. All right. Now I move Nazgul. I put one more Nazgul on them. I put my other Nazgul there. So I do that. And then with this army movement, I do something very wrong in my opinion. I just move the East Rune. And for the life of me, I didn't I don't know why. Right? Because East Rune, there's nothing in East Rune. I technically was like thinking about maybe merging these two armies together, but I don't have any more army dice, so this East Rune army is gonna be stuck in East Rune, right? And I have 3 units here. I'm missing 4 units on Woodland Realm, so 3 is coming from here. Maybe they pick up 1 unit from on the way, and I have Hill Trolls if I really want to buff it up. So this army should just not be here. Just stay in South Rune, right? It's a mustering spot as well, so if I keep mustering, but like, yeah, I'm not sure if I agree with this move. Maybe I should have just moved to Vela Karnan and like move twice with the sea dice on top of the Woodland Realm and maybe use the last one to attack, right? And maybe use a Palantir to forward muster, right? So I'm not really fond of this movement. The other movement went to Far Harad to Near Harad to prep for Corsairs, I need to get these armies in position to potentially get Pelargir at some point, which is a free 1 point, which is good. So and I do this move, right? Okay. Now unfortunately, because of my one stupid half movement, that army is gonna get there, but I'm not gonna get any attacks into it, which means I won't get any cycles into it. My opponent plays the Eomer. Interesting. I mean, it's fair. You really want to defend Helm's Deep if you can, because Helm's Deep is usually a very quick 2 points if you don't defend it, and they have not been defending it, right? If I roll a bunch of muscles and just like do a bomb and I just like do a quick rush out to Helm's Deep, I can get it. So I understand Eomer instead of maybe hiding. So and with the Palantir, I just play Hill Trolls. right? At least I will do something. And that army now is a 14 hit point army, definitely big enough to take Woodland Realm. All right, turn 5. I draw Foul Thing from the Deep and a Relentless Assault. You know, good. Foul Thing is also good because I potentially can maybe delay the Fellowship. There are 3 moves into Mordor, and I have Cruel Weather, so I allocate an eye, I roll one more. And I get, again, a little bit, you know, I get 2 musters and like 1 army movement and 2 attacks and a pound here. My opponent gets this roll, which is, you know, a little bad. They have only single movement. They high with the pound here. And I make a mistake here. I just play Foul Thing. I just don't know why. I I mean, I know why. I now that the fellowship is hidden, I want to reveal them and maybe eat another one of their dice. But even though they're like useless dice, I might just get Strider dead, right? I can kill Strider with a Foul Thing. Like if I kill Strider, it's 1 in 6. If I draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. If I draw 8 out of 14 of these tiles, I can kill Strider maybe. I have a chance at killing Strider. It's low odds, right? But it felt like it would be worth it. I don't know. I generally don't know about this. Maybe I should wait until they move, such that they can't move into Minas Tirith, which would nullify Cruel Weather if they declare in there. But yeah, I would like to. I'm just basically trying to kill Aragorn. I'm trying to kill Strider here. But I draw it to 0, right? I revealed them, but whatever. Had I held it, I might have threatened maybe Cruel Weathering them out or like revealing them into Minas Morgul and drawing another tile and stuff like that. I think I gunned it a little too quickly. So that's a little unfortunate. But my opponent hides immediately again. Sure. And with my army dice, I attack. I wonder why with the army. Right? I still have army movements that I want to make to Nirhara, to Umbar, and maybe East Rune to North Rune, because I also have 2 musters, right? That I'm still gonna maybe attack Erebor with. So but I have another army dice. What am I doing with this C? I'm really unsure. I should probably like attack with the C dice here. I'm not gonna play Cruel Weather or something, right? No, yeah, I don't know. All right, I attack Woodland Realm, and I'm guessing I'm gonna cycle a Relentless Assault. My opponent plays Sudden Strike. They miss. I just take 2 hits, and I roll a single hit. And 1 more from the reroll. All right, I'll take it. My opponent rolls 0. I press, and I draw Mumakil. And what do I play if I'm pressing? I really don't have anything to play. Like this Shadow Gather draw is an excellent draw because my whole plan was to muster in North Rune, merge up, and then like go to Erebor in one fell swoop. And that Shadow Gather is basically the perfect card for me to be able to do that. So I'm definitely not gonna be spending that. We come to kill. Had I used it previous round, maybe it made sense, but now it doesn't. So I really don't have any like Cruel Weather. I could play Cruel Weather, but like playing Cruel Weather before Free People gets into Mordor just seems wrong because it's such a powerful effect. So I know card it. Okay, I'm not sure if I agree, but I get 2 hits. All right. So I rolled 2 hits, and had I played the Cruel is Dead, I would have gotten the 3 hits, right? Um, you know, it's funny sometimes. I Yeah, I don't get any more from the reroll, so I get 2 hits. My opponent gets 2 hits back. All right, that's fair. And I stop. Why do I stop? I should at least press once, right? Hmm. I think I stop because I have all these sea dice that I really don't have anything to do with, right? I want to muster here. Like, this is the thing. Had I attacked with the sea, I would have had an army, which means I could have mustered here twice, moved to North Rune, be done with the siege with a single dice, maybe moved here, attack with the other sea, and next turn I would play Shadows Gather here immediately and bin to here. Like, these army movements are actually really useful. But I definitely feel like I should have like pressed. Just be done with it. Am I looking to cycle anything? No, I don't even have anything to cycle. Maybe I'm like gonna cycle this lidless eye. I don't know. Whatever. I think that's a slight mistake. My opponent moves. They're a single movement. They're safe again. Yeah, I just attack. I just try to get the job done. I will cycle a character card. Sure, it's useless. I get it. My opponent gets one back. All right. I draw a Shelob. Cool. It's a good red tile, I would say. Pass. Now, yeah, I just prep to besiege Erebor, right? And prepare Ambar for Corsairs. That is very fair. So see, if I had another army, I could just if this sea was an army movement, I could just get on top of North Rune and then like execute this plan perfectly. But now I'm just a tempo behind, and what does this sea will just be used to probably besiege Erebor. So it's not that bad, but like I still need to merge these North Rune and East Rune armies. So maybe I could have waited on merging in Umbar, right? And just instead had made the move East Rune to North Rune and then kept near Harad in here. Because getting to Umbar, yes, it's nice to maybe threaten some Corsairs actions for 2 easy points. If you don't draw Corsairs, you really want to be invested in Harando, right? And then just one move away from actually getting Pelargir. So maybe that was also a slight mistake, but we'll see. My opponent passes. I attack Erebor. They go into siege. My opponent plays Dane. Yeah, so sometimes that's what happens, right? They played Thranduil. They played King Brandsman, and they play now Dane. It's surprising that they're playing it with a hybrid and not with the Palantir. I guess they really have something to play with the Palantir. And now that this army is actually 8 hit points with 2 leadership, I like this army here is definitely not big enough. So I need some, yeah, okay, they had Elven Cloaks, all right. I muster in North Rune. It's so weird to me that like North Rune is not the most northern section of the map, and it's like East Rune. It's actually like more northern than North Rune, so that's confusing. I mean, the same with the Mirkwood stuff, but whatever. All right, next turn. Turn 6. I'm drawing. I drew Nazgul Search and Uruk-Hai. So I drew all my forward mustering cards, which is great. My opponent declares an Osgiliath. I allocate a 1 eye and roll 2 more. Probably a little one too many. And my opponent gets enough rolls to get into Mordor, even through cruel weather. My opponent immediately moves. they're safe again. Like I just can't catch them in the hunt. You know, such is life. Um, but the Palantir. Now I immediately play Nazgul Search, and I think this is the mistake, right? Because I should just play Cruel Weather because they can just if they move again, they're just gonna reverse the turn order and not give me a good Cruel Weather opportunity again. Because either they're gonna be revealed in Minas Morgul, or they're just gonna be moving again into it. Like they will just reverse the turn order and see if they need to move again if they are not revealed. So by revealing them here, by basically only putting one Nazgul on top of them and not like, okay, I made this army maybe movable with the sea finally. They just like declare out under me. I just even lose my Nazgul reroll. Like had I played Cruel Weather, I could just put them back in Druiden Forest and at least gotten some rerolls on them. So I think this is a mistake. And finally, these armies get merged, and like this 3-3-1 is a perfect complement to this 2-2-4, which you will see eventually. And I move to North Dunland. At this point, I'm looking at my situation, right? If I get Erebor, I have Lorien, I have 7 points, 7 victory points. Where are my other 3 victory points coming from? Pelargir is easily one of them, so I need 2 more, which is either Helm's Deep or Shire and Edoras. Or maybe Rivendell. So, especially with all these forward mustering cards, but I look at the Elven Force Pool and it's very much stacked. They have not been mustering down elves. If I show that I'm going towards elves, my opponent can just muster a bunch and make it really difficult. And I don't have any other easy 2 points. Right? So I need to wait for a turn where either they don't have enough musters or they don't have enough hybrid to defend Helm's Deep. So I'm going to go to one of them. Right? Or like again, I'm going to go towards Shire. But even the Shire is not that easy to take because they can just muster in Shire and make it difficult for me, right? My opponent plays Axe and Bow, which I find it to be interesting, right? Don't you wanna... I guess you're not really scared of being hiding. Like you're gonna be reversing the tornado where there's only two dice left, so you can play around reveals as well. So with this, I muster North Dunland, and I think this is this is interesting. This is like I feel like I should just muster an Orthanc, genuinely, because I will definitely need either Edoras or Helm's Deep, which means this army needs to be bigger no matter what happens. But like maybe this army goes to Shire or maybe this army goes to the Rivendell. So I think just mustering in a place where you know you'll need something is basically safer option. So that I think this is also a slight mistake by me. My opponent hides. If I have a revealing card right now, had I had that foul thing, maybe I could reveal them, but they could just hide again and move. So I don't think there's any problem. So I muster here again. I think again explained why I think it's a mistake. But at least now this army is maybe big enough to take Shire. But they can of course muster 2 elites and make it a 1-2-0 and just it will be a battle, right? Now my opponent reverses the turn order to play around Cruel Weather. Very astute, very smart of them. And I play Shadows Gather with a hybrid. And this army just boop, 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 5-5-5. Come on, that's satisfying, right? Like, all right. And I capture Iron Hills in the process, and now it's a 15 hit point army against the 8 hit point army. Now it's a battle, right? I just don't have that many good cards to play there, but, you know, my opponent plays Dane, Dol Amroth, Imrahil. That's, you know, smart. If I have Corsairs, I basically win the game, so I think it's smart to reinforce Dol Amroth. And I attack Erebor, right? There's no reason to wait on the siege, and I just play Uruk-Hai because I think Half Orcs and Goblin is a stronger effect because it also gives you one leadership, right? And it activates Devilry of Vortank combat cards to be playable from far away, right? So I think I play Uruk-Hai. My opponent plays a strategy, and it's a shit wall. And it's this is one of the reasons why We Come to Kill actually is a really good combat card when you play for full value, essentially, right? It basically bypasses shield wall. I roll no hits, so shield wall does nothing. My opponent gets 2 on the reroll. All right, cool. I take 2 hits. Shield wall doesn't do anything, and We Come to Kill takes 3 hits. Right? That's the power of We Come to Kill taking effect after the fact, right? So that's 3 hits. My opponent downgrades and take kills in Elite. And I have way too many elites. So I just press, right? I press. I draw Desperate Battle. I immediately play that Desperate Battle. I'm thinking, yep. And I get 1 hit. Okay, I get 2 hits. My opponent gets 1. All right, that's 1 more elite. Now, yeah, this chat. All right, I press again, right? There's no reason to wait on this army because once the Erebor siege is done, there's literally nothing else to take around here. So this army, I don't want to obviously deplete this army so much so that they can just muster an army in Carrick and just retake everything. But I really am very much I'm accepting the fact that I'm just gonna dwindle this army as much as I can to take Erebor. And now, because my opponent played their token and they have the last action of the turn and they're going to be able to play this character dice to play to get into Mordor, I just basically show that I had Cruel Weather. There's like this Cruel Weather will be dead in my hand. I think if I was free people, I would be really happy with myself that even though my opponent had Cruel Weather, I didn't give them any chance to play it, right? Even though it was kind of my fault that I didn't, but you know, it worked out. I forfeit 2, and it gets me a single. It gets me a hit, right? It would have gotten me a hit in Woodland Realm had I played it that one time, but now it got me a hit in Erebor, which I think, you know, did his job, and I get no back. So 1, and my opponent gets 1. So 1/1. I press again. No card, no card, and I get 0 hits. Opponent gets 0. I press again. I get no. Okay, I get 2 hits. All right. That was a little tough. Yeah. So 7 hit points left of this 15 hit point army, which means they dealt 8 damage. I did 3 presses. I think that was 3 presses. Or was it like 4 presses? Like I did 4 damage to myself. They did 4 damage to me normally. And yeah, I think that's a very normal result, right? I don't think there was anything abnormal. Like they had 8 hit points, I had 15 hit points. My We Come to Kill roll was a little lucky, but I got a little unlucky in the couple of presses. So I think the siege went just about how you would expect. So I'm at 7. My opponent gets into Mordor. And I of course don't catch them in their second movement against 3 eyes. And yeah, well, they're safe. So at this point, it's turn 7, right? this is the hunt pool. There is no way that my opponent can dunk in one turn because they roll 5 dice, and if they revealed, they're just gonna have to reveal with one of them, so they can't dunk this round. But the next round is very much possible. The Fellowship is basically lost only Gandalf. The corruption is not any issue whatsoever. So this game is basically a race between my military and the free people, right? I mean, that's how usually the games go, but like the crucial thing is the time of both sides. So okay, I allocate a single eye because I have to. I roll one more, and I get a decent roll, and they get this roll, right? Like it's not given that you're gonna roll all movement, but like with a ring, like you still have 3 rings, so you're gonna move twice, and next turn you're gonna be in contention to dunk. Like it's still gonna be a 2-turn clock, I think, especially with Strider as the guide. So my opponent immediately moves to not to play around any Shelobs, right? And I do have a Shelob. But at this point, I don't know how much Shelob helps me because the hunt pool is massive, right? There are 17 tiles in the pool. So there's really no reason. Like the Shelob would do minimal effect, I think. But and especially I do have 2 Palantirs. And I just drew Fighting Uruk-Hai and Balrog, which Fighting Uruk-Hai is excellent because, like I said, I really want to maybe do something with this army in Orthanc. But Balrog of Moria is just useless at this point. So yeah, I would like to play half orcs and goblinmen, but yeah. So my opponent moves. Oh, they don't move. Oh, they play. Oh wow, they play Mithril. Okay, they play Mithril. They're just like they're definitely gonna be dunking. So even a red now, right, is no good. Because now I'm never gonna play Shelob against this huge hunt pool plus Mithril. Yeah, no way. So I basically I say I'm gonna go to the bathroom. Well, I did, but at the same time I wanted to. We were playing a fast game, and I really wanted to take some time to think through my turn. All right, I need 3 points. Pelargir is one of them, which needs 1-2 attacks. Right, so these 2 armies go into this Umbar and to take Pelargir. Then I have a single character dice, 2 musters, and 2 Palantirs. This one of the Palantirs can be fighting Uruk-Hai, but I don't have anything else to do, right? I can get the mouth with 1 and turn this other muster into an attack. Play with the Palantir, maybe half orcs, right? But like I basically need 1 attack into Fords, 1 attack into Helm's Deep, and 1 Palantir to just take. So I need 2 attacks, which is exactly what I have. Do I have it? I don't, right? I have 2 attacks here, which is like this, take, yeah. I have 1, 2, and a Palantir attack 3. I get them out with this. I get them out with this mustard die. With this mustard die, and with the remaining Palantir, I guess I just play a muster. But then this army becomes a 4-2-2, right? The Saruman wouldn't come with, unfortunately. Is a 4-2-2 is good enough to take Helm's Deep? That will be a 3-0-2, a 3-1-2, right? That will be a 8 hit point army against a 5 hit point army, which is not likely. I mean, my opponent has a single character cards, which means they might not have Ents, which would be really good. But they can just Like if I don't leave anybody behind, and if they kill Saruman, then fighting Uruk-Hai becomes unplayable because it requires Saruman to be in play. So it's tough, right? But my opponent is gonna be dunking next turn, so I need to prepare to be actually get to 10, and the only place I can technically do is Helm's Deep. So I basically execute that plan. I go to Western Horondor, and because of these two musters going into North Dunland, this army is a little bit weaker as a result, right? Like had these two elites were in Orthanc, then I would be like attacking with the 4/4, which would be really good. And I basically threaten Shire. My opponent just moves. Like there's no reason to wait. They get a 1. 1 second. My dog wanted out. So okay. So they draw a 1. The tile they draw really genuinely does not matter, right? It's just the time. They take okay, they Aximbo, sure. I attack Pelargir. I want to take Pelargir before anything else. Right? Maybe force these muster in Gondor. I get no hits. They get no hits. I press. They move to Losternacht. Sure. They defend Minas Tirith, right? I think that's smart. I can technically try and take Minas Tirith. It's like 1, 2, 3 attacks, even though I'm not really showing any. Like I have a single attack showing right now, but I might have Grand or maybe I played Ringwraith Cerebral, so maybe Black Captain and Grand. Well, that would be really cool. And then I muster. And at this point, I was like, I really don't need the mouth. I just need the elites. Right? I need the elites. And this is very interesting because if I muster here, right, I'm not going to be attacking. Like I have a single attack and I need another attack to be able to besiege Helm's Deep and play fighting Uruk-Hai. Right? But I just don't have it. But if my opponent ring moves, I may be able to. Right? Because they're still 4 away from dunking. And next turn, that would mean they need 4 movement, plus any reveals would be like 5th movement. They can mithril one of the reveals away, maybe to try to rush, but it's unlikely that they rush this. So I think they will move. But if they don't move, like next turn, they might not even dunk. Like this is the very interesting push and pull of the game, right? Like again, with this hunt pool, do you think you can dunk in a 1 move with the free people, right? So unlikely. If they don't move now, they can only use a ring, 1 ring per turn. So will they be able to dunk next turn as well? I don't think so. So they will probably move, right? So I might get an attack. And if I don't get an attack, at least I have Half Orcs and Goblin Men, and I can maybe play Shelob. Like I have stuff to do with the Palantir, but I just need this army to be a little bigger, right? And if that happens, I'm not even gonna move out, right? Maybe because then I don't want to give them a chance to maybe kill Saruman. This might be a mistake, but like it's not like a clear cut decision. But I'm really struggling these. I'm really missing these 2 elites that I mustered in download in Orthanc. Because if I had them, I just would get mouth, get the extra die, and like use the mouth to attack. So I mustered in there again. My opponent passes, and now I attack boards, and I know cards, and my opponent scouts away into. And at this point, I bring everyone, because if they have an ant, if their last character dice is an ant, they have to use a ring to play it, which means they're not moving. Yes, they might kill Saruman, but I technically need. I mean, losing fighting Uruk-Hai would be really bad, but at least I will get an entire turn next turn with a ring to move all my leadership that's currently stuck in Erebor down onto Helm's Deep, play half orcs and goblin men, buff up this army. It would be 4-4-5, right? It would be a 12 hit point army that can definitely take a 5 hit point army. And like I said, if they don't move now, they will definitely not. I don't think it's unlikely that they will be able to dunk next round. I will be in a good position. I don't care if Saruman dies, is basically my point. So I bring everyone. My opponent uses a ring to move, which I think is correct, right? You really want to move, and I'm not showing any attacks. You remove, and I get an eye. It's a 3 reveal, and I think they make a mistake and just random, and I random into Strider. Of course, like why wouldn't I? You just, I think you should just eat it, right? Just be at 5, 3 movements. You want to be efficient. Now, with Strider gone, they still might not even dunk next turn because they need 4 movements, right? They need 4 movements. They need 1 to hide, 3 to move, and they need to basically like avoid the reveals. Now they have like the crazy thing. I think it's pretty unlikely if they didn't have Mithril Coat and Sting, because technically what Mithril Coat and Sting allows them to do is just they can just ignore one of the reveals and redraw a tile, right? I don't exactly know what the odds are. Like I tried calculating it, but if they don't have Mithril, it's like maybe 10% that they roll enough movement and not hit any of the reveals, or like if obviously like they need 4 movement, but if they roll 3 movement, they can dunk with the ring if they don't hit any reveals. But if they roll 4 or more movements, they can just like ignore one of the reveals by using a ring and moving naturally, but then they have to avoid 2 reveals. So it's like the math is a little weird. Plus, they can get the final reveal in the last step. Like if you make the last move and you get a reveal tile, that doesn't really matter. So it's like a chance that they can definitely dunk, but having Mithril makes that chance even more. I think I calculated them to have around 25%, 27% to dunk next turn. And that's, no, sorry, I think I calculated to be like 42% to dunk next turn. I think that's a big percentage. I mean, not at the game, like afterwards, not during the game. That would be crazy. That would take a long time. So at this point, I'm sitting here and like if they have a 42% chance to dunk next turn, what are my chances to win next turn are? Like it's not 58, because if they don't dunk, they will definitely get closer, and I still will need many attacks to close the deal. I will if I move to next round, I might get Edoras and Shire, which takes 1-2 attacks, 1-2 attacks. That's like 4 attacks, right? Immediately. And maybe if they like mustering Carrick and retake Dale or something, I would need an attack to maybe retake Dale. So I need at least 5 attacks, if not 6 or something, right? And I don't have mouth, right? So what I should do is with this ring get mouth, so I can get my 10th die and a potential to turn a muster into an attack, right? But like that's also weird because if I don't roll enough attacks, I might not even win next turn, even though the Fellowship doesn't dunk, right? It's a very, very interesting position, and I'm really curious what you would have done and what do you think is the best. What gives the shadow player the best odds of winning? And at this point, I decided to just, I don't know, take my chances. Right? I have fighting Uruk-Hai, like I said. I use a ring to attack Helm's Deep. My opponent musters in Carrick for next turn. Now, this is extremely useful. If they can definitely retake Dale, right? With a single muster, maybe like 2 attacks, they can take Dale next turn. If they don't dunk. So I was just like, I'm just not going to give you a chance to do that. I'm just going to play Fighting Uruk-Hai. I have 10 hit points. You have 5. I should win this. I have a single playable card. Well, we're just gonna roll for the game, right? If I don't win this siege, I lose. If I just win, I just win the game outright. If like I'm just looking at this and like I either lose next turn most likely, or the turn after that, or I just win right here, right? There's no reason to delay it. And I think after the game, I crudely calculated what the expected number of hits would be for me and for my opponent. I think it's like a 55% for me to win this. No, 45% to win this siege. Like, it's very weird. I think I make a little mistake taking casualties, so it should be like 55. But like the way I did it, it's like 45 or something. But yeah, so enough build up. Let's see what happens. So I immediately play We Come to Kill. I really want to reduce their combat strength. I get 0 hits. I get nothing. My opponent gets 1 hit. Okay, rough start. I do post. I get 1 hit. Okay, at least I get a hit. That's expected. You would expect what? A hit. Yeah, that's expected. Um, yeah, round 2. My opponent plays Daylight. They couldn't play Daylight first because the Uruk-Hai doesn't allow them to. I get 1 hit. I mean, getting 1 hit through Daylight is good. My opponent gets 2. All right, that's good. They're still right now the casualties are on par, right? Like I'm doing 1 and they're doing 2. Round 3, I get 1 hit. All right. My opponent gets 1 hit back. All right, that's good. I just need 2 more. I just need 2 more 6s. So I press. And at this point, I think I made a mistake. I think I should have taking a. I should have took a. Oh, I forgot to mention when they dealt 2 damage. I should not have killed an elite, but should have basically kept the elite, but reduced the combat strength to potentially have him 1 more press. But yeah. All right. So I press once. I have 2 more presses. I press once. I will be rolling 4 plus the leadership 5 dice. I get 1. All right. And my opponent gets 2 hits. Ah. Right. I need to be able to press. So I take my regular hits. And now I'm at 1-1. And I press again. Like there's no reason. Again, I just put all my hits. So I just need 1, 6, and 2 dice. And I get it. It's the last. It's the last. It's the last rolled dice. It's a 6. And that's what it matters. And my opponent also gets a 6. So at the end of the day, one single Isengardian unit standing alone on Helm's Deep. And yeah, that was the game. It was a turn 7 military victory. I really think the Fellowship had a huge chance to win next round, so I like did this crazy play, but I'm not sure if it was crazy because not only they could win next round, I might not have won next round as well. Like if they don't win next round, there's a chance that I don't win next round, and there's a chance that they straight up just win next round. So I was like pedal to the metal or whatever, just go hard. Was this crazy? Was there anything else to do? Like there was many small mistakes I think in my play where like these 2 elites in North Downland were useless. This army movement into East Rune was questionable, or maybe like keep this guy near Harad, right? But overall, I'm satisfied with the way I played because sometimes you need to take those risks, right? Maybe attacking like that into a stronghold is not the most optimal play, but like it definitely is kind of a play that sometimes you have to make, right? And being able to see those moments is really important. And had the siege gone badly, I think it wouldn't have mattered to me, right? Because I was losing either way if I didn't take the siege. Because next turn, what other 2 points am I going to get? Sure, I can get the Shire, but the other point is like this Edoras is not looking like I can get him because at this point, Rohan is at war, so they can just muster Edoras and create a massive army. So yeah, that was the game. Okay, so once again, in true fashion, I forgot to show you the statistics for this game. And yeah, look at that. It's a little bigger. So let's take a look. I don't think these are swapped. Let's start with the Fellowship distribution. They rolled 31 dice because Gandalf was a little late, so they're down on wills. They're plus on Palantirs, even though they very effectively used them. They're a little bit plus on muscles, but they didn't really use. All right. Their attacks, they are down in 6s and 5s, so they definitely did not inflict the most amount of damage to me. But looking over, I also was very much down on 6s, right? I was -6 on 6s. And yeah, it definitely felt like it, right? I was getting strongholds captured very slowly. It took some many presses. So all these presses basically dealt the damage to myself anyway. Had they also deal damage back, it would have been even harder, but I guess the luck a little bit balanced out in that way, but you know, oh well. I'm down on eyes, which is good. On attacks, I am a little bit down, right? It's not crazy, but whatever. I'm high on musters, but I think it was worth it, right? I was able to efficiently muster troops and use them basically effectively, very effectively. So effective, I would say that I was able to just I didn't take Helm's Deep with a single unit. So yeah, that was the game. It was a good game. It was very fast. I think it was informative, but I think it also showed a way of playing that hey, it's a race, right? You can't just take your foot off the gas. So I hope it was enjoyable. I hope it was entertaining and informative. Yeah, I hope you got something out of it, and thanks for watching. See you in the next one.